I gave my brother everything, paid for his college, his wedding, his business. For 15 years, I was his safety net, and when he finally made it big, he asked me for $40,000, not to pay me back, to lend him more. I said yes, but what I gave him instead, it didn't just destroy his perfect little world, it exposed who he really was to everyone who mattered. My name is David. I need to tell you about my brother Ryan. Growing up, we were close. Best friends, actually. Our parents died when I was 23 and Ryan was 19. A car accident that shattered everything. I had just finished college, had a decent entry-level job in finance. Ryan was a sophomore, pre-med, with dreams bigger than both of us combined. At the funeral, he looked at me with tears streaming down his face and said, "I don't know what to do, David. I can't lose them and my future." So I made him a promise. I told him I'd take care of everything, that he'd finish school, that he'd become the doctor our parents always knew he'd be, and I kept that promise. I worked 80-hour weeks, lived in a tiny studio apartment, drove a car held together by duct tape and prayer. Every spare dollar went to Ryan's tuition, his textbooks, his rent. When he got into medical school, I refinanced the house our parents left us to cover the costs. When he graduated and wanted to marry his college sweetheart, Emily, I paid for the wedding $28,000. I didn't mind. He was my little brother. He was all I had. Ryan became a cardiologist, opened his own practice, started making the kind of money I'd never see in my life. Meanwhile, I was still grinding, managing partner at my firm now, comfortable, but not wealthy, not like him. But here is the thing about Ryan's success. I never saw a dime back, not a thank you check, not even an offer, just stories about his new house, his Tesla, the European vacations with Emily and their 2 kids. I told myself it was fine, family doesn't keep score, right? Then came the phone, call, David, hey man, you got a minute? It was a Tuesday evening. I was at my desk, going through quarterly reports. Sure, what's up? So Emily and I have been talking. Found this incredible investment opportunity. A friend of mine from med school is opening a private surgical center and he's looking for partners. Ground floor opportunity, Dave. Life-changing money. My stomach tightened. I knew where this was going. He needs $40,000 from each partner by Friday. I am a little short right now. Just bought the lake house, you know how it is, and I was hoping you could spot me just for a few months. I'll pay you back with interest once the center starts generating revenue. I sat there in silence, staring at my computer screen. $40,000. After 15 years. After $170,000 in tuition. After the wedding. After being forgotten the moment his bank account got comfortable. David? You there? Yeah. I said quietly. I'm here. So can you help me out? Something in his voice. Expectation. Entitlement. Like it was a foregone conclusion. Let me think about it, I said. Okay, but I need to know by tomorrow. This opportunity won't wait. He hung up. Didn't ask how I was doing. Didn't ask about my life. Just needed money. I sat there for 3 hours, not moving, and then I opened my laptop and started digging. I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I did what I do best, research. I started with Ryan's social media, where he post after post of his perfect life. The lake house had just bought a $0.2 million property. The Tesla Model X in the driveway, photos from Tuscany last month, Emily's designer handbags, and then I found something interesting, a comment thread under one of his posts from 8 months ago, a college buddy congratulating him on finally paying off those student loans. I went deeper, called in a favor from a friend who works in financial records. What I found made my blood turn to ice. Ryan had taken out private student loans, big ones, and had been making minimum payments for years while living like a king. The loans I'd paid, the tuition, the living expenses, he'd pocketed that money or used it for other things. The wedding fund, he'd told Emily it came from e-savings key, and he'd been lying to me, to her, to everyone. I felt something crack inside my chest. Not sadness, not hurt. Rage. Pure, clarifying rage. But I didn't call him. I didn't confront him. Instead, I started planning. If Ryan wanted $40,000, I'd give it to him. Just not the way he expected. I spent the next day building what I called the gift. First, I created a detailed financial spreadsheet, and every dollar I'd ever given Ryan. Dates, purposes. Tuition payments, $27, and living expenses, $1,000, wedding, $8,000. The house refinance that kept him afloat during med school, $3,000. The emergency loans over the years that were never repaid, $8,000. Total, $47,000. And then I adjusted for inflation and added reasonable interest, 5% compounded annually. New total, $68. But I didn't stop there. I tracked down Ryan's college buddy who'd made that comment about the loans, took him out for drinks, learned the truth. Ryan had bragged about playing the system, using family money while keeping his loans in deferment, then consolidating them later for tax benefits. I contacted 3 of Ryan's med school classmates. Got similar stories. Ryan always had money, always picked up the check. Never mentioned a brother who was sacrificing everything. Then I made copies, documents, screenshots, bank records down, and I packaged it all into a beautiful leather portfolio. The next morning, I called Ryan.
"I'll give you the 40,000.
I said, "Dave, I knew I could count on you, man. You're a lifesaver. Come by my place tomorrow evening. I'll have it ready. Can't you just wire it? I am slammed this week." "No," I said calmly. "You come here, in person, with Emily." "Emily, why?" "Because this involves both of you. 7 p.m. Don't be late." I hung up before he could argue. They showed up at 75. Emily looked confused. Ryan looked annoyed. "Dave, what is this about? I thought you were just giving me a check." "Come in," I said. "Sit down." My apartment was small, but I'd set the stage perfectly. The leather portfolio sat on the coffee table. 3 glasses of whiskey poured, documents in neat stacks. They sat. Emily kept glancing at Ryan, sensing something was wrong. So I began. "I did some thinking about your request, Ryan. $40,000. And you're right, it is not that much money. Not compared to what I've already given you." Ryan's smile faltered. "What do you mean?" I slid the portfolio across the table. "Open it." He did. His face went white as he flipped through the pages. "This is a complete accounting of every dollar I've spent on you since Mom and Dad died. 68. Those and adjusted for inflation and interest. David." "What the hell?" Let me finish. My voice was ice. "You told me you needed help, that you couldn't lose your future. I believed you. I sacrificed for you, and you know what you did. You lied. To me. To Emily. You took my money and used it to fund a lifestyle while you kept your own loans in your pocket." Emily grabbed the portfolio, started reading. Her hands were shaking. "Ryan, is this true?" "It is not." He's twisting it. "I have bank records," I continued. "Statements showing deposits I made to your account. Loan documents you never showed me. And I have testimonies from your friends about how you bragged about playing the system." Emily's face crumbled. "You told me your brother helped a little. You said we paid for school together, that the wedding was from our savings." "Emily, please. Did you lie to me? For 15 years? Ryan stood up, face red. "You're for really going to do this, David? Humiliate me in front of my wife?" "Humiliate you?" I stood too. "You humiliated yourself. I am just showing the truth." "So, what? You want your money back? Fine, we'll set up a payment plan." "I don't want your money, Ryan." He blinked. "Then what do you want?" I picked up the 3rd whiskey glass, took a slow sip. "I want you to understand what you are. You are a leech, a user. You took everything I had and never once said, thank you. Never once offered to help when you started making 10 times my salary. You let me struggle while you bought lake houses, David. And when you finally called me after months of silence, it wasn't to check in, it wasn't to apologize, it was to ask for more." The room was dead silent except for Emily's quiet crying. "So here is what's going to happen," I said. "You cannot getting $40,000. You forgetting this." I pulled out a sealed envelope and placed it on the table. "What is it?" Ryan asked. voice hollow. It's a letter addressed to your surgical center partner, explaining your financial history, your lies, your pattern of using people. I have also CC'd copies to your practice manager, your medical board, and 3 of your biggest investors. Ryan's face went grey. You wouldn't dance? I already did. I mailed them this morning. You wanted to build your empire on other people's money without consequences. But now everyone will know exactly who they're dealing with. Emily stood up, clutching the portfolio. I can't even look at you right now. She turned to me. David, I'm so sorry. I swear to God, I didn't know. I believe you, I said gently. Well, she walked out. Ryan started after her, then turned back to me. You just destroyed my life. No, I said. I just stopped enabling you. There's a difference. He stared at me with pure hatred, then grabbed the portfolio and left. I sat down in the silence and finished my whiskey. It tasted like freedom. That was 6 months ago. Ryan's surgical center deal fell through. His partner wanted nothing to do with him after my letter. Emily filed for divorce 3 weeks later. Ryan's practice is still running, but he lost 2 of his biggest hospital contracts when the medical board launched an ethics inquiry into his financial dealings. He tried to sue me for defamation. His lawyer dropped the case when I provided full documentation. Everything I said was true. I don't feel guilty. For 15 years, I gave and gave and gave, thinking I was helping family. But I wasn't helping. I was enabling. I was teaching him that people exist to serve his dreams while he gives nothing back. My only regret, that I didn't do it sooner. Emily reached out last month. She thanked me, said the divorce was the wake-up call she needed. She's starting her own business now, something she'd always wanted but Ryan had dismissed as a hobby. As for Ryan, I heard through mutual acquaintances that he's struggling. Downsized the house, sold the Tesla, working. 60-hour weeks to stay afloat. Hates finally learning what I lived for 15 years. And you know what? I sleep better now than I have in a decade. Because the best revenge isn't cruelty, it's truth. It's letting someone face the consequences of their own choices without you there to catch them. Ryan wanted $40,000. I gave him something worth far more accountability. If you've ever been used by someone you loved, if you've ever given everything and gotten nothing back, you're not alone. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do, for yourself and them, is to stop. What do you think? Did I go too far? Or did Ryan get exactly what he deserved? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if this story hit home, hit that like button and subscribe. Because next week, I am covering the wife who discovered her husband's secret second family and how she made sure both families found out at Thanksgiving dinner. You won't want to miss it.